Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. Dean has not been replaced by Big Man Backer. Big Man show will be on Wednesday with that slate, but I absolutely love that, Dean. You've gone for a couple of weeks and look, you've got a new face.
Been replaced already. Jeez, blimey. You don't mess around. Yeah, look, I'm back on the same time zone. I'm here in body, not entirely in spirit. The jet lag has been real the last few days, but a combination of the kids and then me having it. Like last night, I literally got 3 hours sleep. The night before, I got about 4 or 5. So I've been so jaded today. I was actually doing a podcast earlier in the day and I was saying the complete wrong words at times. I was like, this is so weird. So just a warning to everyone, if I get someone's name wrong, if I say something silly, give me the benefit of the doubt for one day only. Next time you can absolutely batter me. But yeah, mate, it's good to be back. And the first game week, well, almost in the bag. We've got one game left to play. It's been big, and mainly because Fulham got a win, obviously. But yeah, how did you find it?
Mate, I've loved it. FPL is truly back. And I've loved seeing so many new faces in the chat as well. So hello to all you guys. Nuclear Atoms, Dean's getting replaced faster than Mitrovic. CH, back to the ironing board, Dean. And CH, by the way, guys, is going to become our first ever mod, which is pretty cool. So we had When You Were Gone, Dean, as well as a couple of times, especially on Big Man Backer's stream. A few comments in the chat being like, the comments you just don't want in the chat. So we were like, we need someone moderating this. And CH kindly volunteered. So yeah, it'll be great. We'll have CH as our moderator. So if there's any unpleasant comments in the chat, she can boot them out. Or if there's people spamming, asking the same question 1,000 times. So yeah, mate, we're growing. That we need.
We're a serious channel now. Once you get a moderator, you know you're a serious channel. So that is a great step. Thank you, CH. No better person for the job. Absolutely loyal to the core.
Yeah. Mate, when you were gone, we had a variety of different streams, one of which was me and my mate Ed, who runs Fest with me on Friday. For those of you that joined that stream, apologies for the terrible internet in my hotel room, and also apologies for probably the very flippant and amateur nature of the stream. Ed definitely brings out the worst in me. So do let us know in the chat if you enjoyed it. I saw some comments saying it was their favorite stream ever. And I saw some being like, what the hell?
Are they all right?
What was this?
I'm going to have to watch this back. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it was chaos at best, mate. Chaos at best. Mate, you've got some tan. You had a good trip in San Diego, right?
Oh, mate, yeah. What an amazing place. If you haven't been to San Diego, I highly, highly recommend it to anyone. Like, it's great. Like, I can't imagine how good it is as a single person or someone who hasn't got kids, because there's a whole world of San Diego that I haven't seen as that person. But someone with kids as well, like, there's so much to do, and you can combine the stuff and, like, somehow managed to have a good time being at kid stuff. I went to like SeaWorld, which I was very like, oh, am I okay with this? But turns out not really that much about the animals anymore. It's basically a theme park, most of it. Yeah. Mate, that was unbelievable place. So yeah, there's a few little things like that. But Tamperini went away as Dean Jones, came back as Tony Montana. It was hot, man. It was hot. It was hard to avoid it. I never ever wear caps, and I had to get one to just protect my face. In the end, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm going to literally go mahogany by the end of this trip. After that week one was ridiculous. So, yeah. Vindy says he loved when Ed couldn't wait 2 minutes to go and get a drink, and he wanted room service. Seemed the start of a great show.
Yeah, it was. We definitely had room service before and after the stream, and we didn't order any food, put it that way.
So were you in the same room doing the stream?
Yeah, we sat there over my laptop together with this.
Wow.
And Travelodge makes you pay for the Wi-Fi, right? You get half an hour free. And we were obviously like, I was like, we can pay for it. It's a couple of quid. But we couldn't, it was just, the card details just were like, there was no space to enter your card details. So we had to do tethering off 4G. And then we eventually moved to the free 30 minutes, which was actually better than the 4G. So the second half of the stream was better, but we knew we couldn't start that way because we only had 30 minutes for free. But there we go. We made a few jokes, mate, that you were with us under the bed. And we also had like Olivia and Fabrizio Romano and Kelly and Jules. They're all in the room somewhere as well. So we had like 4 beds lined up behind us. It looked like a youth hostel.
Wow.
It was
That'd have
loads
been a
of
hell
fun.
of a time if it was. Yeah, it would. Maybe we need to do a show all together one day. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we also locked in that Chaser team, so we'll have more on the Chaser team on Friday's show. We thought about this earlier. We're gonna commit a good section of the Friday stream each week to our Chaser team, not only to look at the points they've scored, but also to make the key decision and captaincy and stuff like that. But you'll be pleased to know we had loads of the main bases covered. Punter says, Gianni, you look fresh on the FPL show. No hangover. Yeah, that was a slight problem, but makeup definitely covered over all those.
How hungover were you?
Right. Pretty hungover. My voice was probably like this, and I was like, "Oh, all the Premier League big bosses are in because they're like there to watch the first show back." So yeah, I was a bit croaky. I was definitely a bit croaky, but it was, by the time I was on air, I was obviously fine. But getting up to travel there at like 7 a.m., I was like, or was it 6? I think it was 6. I was like, oh.
Unbelievable.
So there we go. Vindy says he wants another drunk show, maybe another time, not for a while. But let's move on. We got a look. We got coming up in today's show. We'll obviously be answering your questions. And guys, we always look at any questions regardless. But if you want to make a question stand out and you want to guarantee that we answer it, then the super chat function has been enabled. Look what happens. We have a stream with Big Man Backer, and all of a sudden, super chats are a thing on this channel. So I've got a lot of time for that. Now, we're not here to make money from you guys, but we're conscious. We've always done everything for free on this channel. And if you want to show your support to me and Dean in any way, then it might be that you want to ask a question and give a couple of bucks. So feel free to ask a question or donate if you would like to, but absolutely no pressure, and we'll continue to answer your questions regardless. But next up, Dean, let's start with some of your headlines with your notebook from the weekend just gone.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sure everyone was tuned into that Chelsea-Liverpool game. I don't know why they can't just, one of them has Caicedo, one of them has Lavia, but they're not going to, because Chelsea want both. They're going to get so greedy here. Like, mate, this is absolutely outrageous what Chelsea are doing right now. Like, to be spending £165 million, maybe even more in the end, on these two, plus the 106 they already spent on Enzo Fernandez. No, like that's basically illegal. Like you don't do that. Maybe on your strikers, you can go and spend this money. On look, back in the day, mate, when we were growing up, the style of midfielders were just coming through the youth team. It was a normal thing that you could bring out your own central midfielders. It was very rare you were getting players like this going for major money. It probably wasn't really until the likes of Pogba started to come, but Pogba's obviously got that flamboyance and the superstar factor about him and stuff. Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia going for this sort of money, mate. A year ago, you barely heard of these players.
They were probably the cheapest players in your team behind fullbacks and goalkeepers 10 years ago. Now, obviously, fullbacks are expensive too, but I see what you mean. Often it was the academy grad or someone that could just play it safe. Not the most talented player on the pitch, but a safe pair of hands. And now they're £100 million players.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark's saying, disagree, Dean, they're very thin in central midfield. I'm not saying they don't need central midfielders. I'm saying the amount of money they are spending here is absolutely outrageous. It's ridiculous. I don't like it at all. I
Conor
really
Gallagher
don't
played well as well, which was quite funny. We all thought Conor Gallagher cannot play DM. He is not a defensive midfielder, but he played behind Enzo. Enzo was the 8, and I love him as an 8. Wow, what performance. But Gallagher, it was okay, you can do that. He was exceptional second half, Gallagher, and now he's not going to get a look in.
Not if they sign in both of these, as it looks right now. No, I mean, look, this Lavia things and Caicedo's been going one way than the other within 5 minutes for the last 4 days. So who knows how this actually ends up. But it looks like Caicedo will join Chelsea tonight, and it looks like Lavia might even be tied up by this time tomorrow. So that's how quickly Chelsea are trying to move on that deal. And as I say, a year ago, look, how much did you know about Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo Fernandez a year ago? Not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot, mate.
Yeah.
So anyway, look, Chelsea, what this means in terms of FPL is, mate, this is new expectations. Chelsea now have to be considered title contenders. You cannot
agree.
spend that much money and not consider yourself title contenders. You can't be like, oh no, there's no rush, like no expectation here from Pochettino. Let's just make the top 4. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You have to go out and at least put up a sort of challenge that Arsenal put up last season. I know that people will say, well, it's a new team. You can't expect that. Like they're behind in terms of bringing the team together. Well, that was their decision. Like I'm going to judge them on the fact that they decided to blow up their old team and replace them with a completely new one at the cost of £900 million in the course of a year.
We have made some good sales though for big money too.
Which ones?
Well, Mason Mount went for big money.
You could have done with Mason Mount. I don't think that's a good sale. I think you still need Mason Mount.
I was watching the game at the weekend, that first half an hour especially, and I went, the 2 players we really need are Jorginho and Mason Mount, and we sold them both.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this is the thing.
We needed that control in the middle early on. I was like, Jorginho is literally, that's what he's for. And this Poch team's going to keep possession. Like, we're going to be on the ball a lot, and that plays in someone like, that's the sort of team Jorginho needs to be in, one that's always on the ball. And even against Liverpool, our possession was, I think, for most of the game, over 60%. So, yeah, there we go. Let's move on from Chelsea, although definitely should be on our FPL radar, Dean, right? Because,
well, yeah, I mean, this is what I was going to get at. Yeah, because, so Chelsea, like, as a result of me slating their recruitment there for being overpriced, which it is, but like when you convert that into the game that we are all sat here playing, this makes their assets much more interesting. And certainly the defenders are suddenly... I'm much more interested. I mean, I've said before, I've got Reece James. I'm backing him up with Malagusto, and I'm sticking with that for now, even though Chilwell seems the guy to have. Like, I'm not going to jump off of this boat after 1 week. But either way, Chilwell and James suddenly even more, must have, if you like, because they now have actual protection. They just played at the weekend without protection, really. I mean, Enzo is going to get a bit more freedom, but yeah, I think it just makes that even more so. And I would have just flip it to talk about Liverpool for a second, because I don't want to touch their defensive assets at all. Like, they haven't got Caicedo or Lavia, and they've got that midfield, which we saw, like they basically play in 6 forwards.
McAllister's having to play like DM by himself, and it's like he ain't an outright DM. McAllister, like this guy played number 10 for Argentina.
So they've got to sign someone, but the problem that Liverpool have now got is by going through the summer saying, no, we haven't got that much money, we're not going for Jude Bellingham, don't want to spend that much money, because they fronted this deal that they were going to try and get Caicedo, and then they upped their bid for, they've shown their hand, and now everyone's like, okay, well, there's a premium going on to this. So they've got to either go and find like some sort of free agent, someone whose contract's expiring, whatever it is. But I don't think they're going to get a good deal no matter what happens. So Liverpool, apart from having an attacker, I've obviously got Mo Salah. I think he's my only Liverpool asset at the moment.
Which, by the way, you're really unlucky on. We'll see our teams later, but Mo Salah could have had a 20-pointer. Goal disallowed, hit the crossbar. On another day, they get a penalty, and he obviously got the assist. So, look, Mo Salah owners, keep the faith, because that Bournemouth fixture is going to be tasty.
Yeah, and he had a tantrum. So, after you've thrown a tantrum for being subbed, you're like, okay, so next game, bang, he's up for it. Like, he's got to be scoring, and he's got to be looking at Klopp, giving him the old shush or whatever. I want some of that from Salah when he bagged his hat-trick at the weekend. So I'm definitely sticking by him. Just to round off my section of the notebook, look, my boys Fulham got the win. Mitrovic actually came on and played. Yeah. Was involved in the winning goal. Yeah. But just as I was starting to believe he might stay, a new bid has come in today from Al Hilal, who was signing Neymar and are also going to be signing Mitrovic.
Big man, little man. It'll be like Niall Quinn and Kevin Phillips.
Mate, I honestly was like, I think we've managed to ride the wave. Like, he's not getting what he wants. Like, he's been offered like £25 million a year, but Fulham are sticking out for this 50 million. They're not going to go there. They're not paying more than 40 million. Today, it sounds like they have thrown in the 50 million, which I think will be enough. So it looks like Mitrovic might now have actually played his last game for Fulham. Have to admit, I am kind of excited now because I'm like, okay, well, what are we going to do with £50 million? Yeah. Like, we've got Raul Jimenez, who actually looks all right, to be fair.
I thought he looked good. I was surprised. This is a different Jimenez to what we saw at the end of last season with Wolves. He looks quite sharp.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we've got Adama Traore now as well. So you never know. Like, those two might have rekindled some kind of connection. And yeah, Fulham will sign a new striker. So keep your eyes on that one. There's a few people are being linked at the moment. En-Nesyri is one that I've heard. So let's
that'd be
see.
a good buy. What about Spurs and a striker, Dean? Are they going to go for one?
They
obviously
are
talking Lukaku and stuff, but Richarlison is the number 9 for Brazil. Is he not going to be the leading man in this team? Are they going to buy a backup for Richarlison, or are they going to actually look to buy a number 9 to start games?
They're not buying a Kane replacement as it stands. They're not buying like a premium elite striker. They're trying to sign Gift Urban, who plays for Ghent in Belgium.
Yeah.
Good goal scoring record. I mean, mate, he's come out of nowhere. Like,
I think he's just followed them on Instagram, I saw earlier.
Yeah, I mean, this deal has been pretty close. I was told to expect it probably by Wednesday. So
wow.
I think that deal will happen. So Tottenham will do that. But yeah, Richarlison's definitely going to get his opportunity. It's suddenly a really, really promising FPL asset. I think he'll get... I saw Ange talking about him. He was like, I just want to get him right there in front of the goal. Just told him, get close to the goal and convert your chances. And once he starts to do that, you never know. Paul Cook says, is Salah going to Saudi League? No, he's not.
Not a chance.
Absolutely not.
All right, cool. Thanks, Dean. Loved all those roundups. And guys, if you have got questions for Dean, do get them in. And obviously, we'll prioritize anything.
I'm only taking super chats.
Yeah. Any transfer ones have to be a super chat. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
Let's move on now to my eye test report from the weekend just gone. There has been loads to scout. Still don't know if it's Maddison or Richarlison. Like, they're both midfielders. They're both playing in a team that's going to attack so much. We definitely want Spurs attack covered from game week 3 onwards. Don't worry about this week. It's Man United, tricky fixture. But from game week 3, the fixtures are juicy, and we're going to want Maddison or Richarlison. Now, if Maddison plays like he just played at the weekend, again against Man United, we'll all go there because we chase points and we look at the numbers and we go, it's Maddison. But I cannot forget that for less than Maddison at 7 million rather than 7.5, we have the Spurs number 9 playing out of position. And I think under Postecoglou, a bit at times pre-season, we saw it. He got a hat-trick against Sunset City Sailors or whatever they were called. Lions, I think it might have been. And Ange wants that striker, as you just mentioned, Dean. Like, it's going to be between the posts and be the tapping merchant. He wants a Ruud van Nistelrooy. And with Harry Kane, he didn't actually have one. He was perhaps at times will drop too deep and be on too much on the ball. So the team's going to get goals. We want a Spurs midfielder. At the moment, we're looking at Mads. At some point, I think it might change to Richarlison. By giving ourselves the Man United game and not going too early on this, we get an extra week to make sure it's the right asset. It might even be come game week 3, we go, I'm waiting until game week 4. I want another week just to scout these two. Maybe it's even both. But Spurs midfielders at those prices, definitely consider them. Firmly on my list, that's for sure. I think Big Man Backer might be in the chat. There we go. Good to see him in the chat.
Loyal.
Someone just said hi, a Big Man, so I'm just going off that.
He's there, yeah. He's there. 621, he's there. Welcome, Big Man. Thanks for filling my boots. And you probably missed it, mate, but you were in the intro show today because they didn't replace your face with mine. So you've made an appearance on this show without even knowing today. Nuclear said he thinks Maddison is clear of Richarlison, better footballer on free kicks and bloody good at it as well.
He won't be on pens, though, I don't think. Maddison's penalty record's not great, and Richarlison is 4 from 4 in the league. He also took and scored a penalty for Brazil in the Copa America final in the second half. He stepped up and took that pen. He also wrestled the ball off Calvert-Lewin once at Everton because he wanted to take the pen. I think he's going to get penalties. If he doesn't, it will be Son, the captain. I don't think Mads will be on pens. What do you reckon, Dean?
First of all, it's not Big Man Backer. It's apologies, Mohammed. It's just someone with a very similar name, so we've got that wrong.
That was CH's fault. I didn't see Mohammed in the chat.
The mod. How can the mod be getting things like this wrong?
Come on, CH.
Come on, up your game on your debut. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Oh, I know who Mohammed Amu Bakr is. Yes, good. I'm glad you're joining us as well, mate. Definitely a friend of the show.
Yeah, it was. It's we got a bit confused there, but obviously welcome back. I want to see Tottenham for a couple more weeks. I mean, I'm not going to commit to either at the moment. I'm not going to miss out on anything outrageous, I don't think, by not jumping on Maddison. look, Richarlison has like hat-trick potential in the next few weeks. So you could miss out on that, but I feel like more people are going to be enticed towards Maddison. So by just sitting off it, I feel like I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, it's Mohammed, the guy who won the first Chasing Green Arrows mini league. Yeah, he was flying high for a long time. And CH says he's not a mod yet. I'll do my research once we cross that threshold. Love that. Maybe by Wednesday you will be. And look, if Big Man thinks he can just rock up here on a Wednesday and join the channel, then that's cool. But he's got to be on the in the chat on Mondays and Fridays, I reckon. So we'll have a word because we want him answering your questions.
Yeah, CH, you need to know every single chaser's name, what they would look like in real life. You need to know their backgrounds. We need to know everything about everyone. So that's your job from the next show.
So we've done Spurs midfield. Just mention Adogi, or Adogi as the commentator said. 4.5 million is going to be a great asset, but we do need some clean sheets at Spurs first. But he will attack for fun. Not quite so high as Chilwell, Sokhan, but decent, very decent indeed. Other standout performers from the game week. Well, I mean, there's so many to mention, right? I would say Levi Colwill, the best 4.5 defender this season, I think, so far. Yeah. He's going to be great. He played left back pretty much against Mo Salah. And for the first 20 minutes, he was uncomfortable, but then he just bossed it. And I thought, you're not going to be playing Mo Salah every week. I think we're going to get some bonus points and a lot of clean sheets from him. Shout out also within that fixture, by the way, Jackson. I know he blanked, but we're going to get points from him. He looked really sharp. But I've got to mention...
Sorry, just quickly on him.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit scared of him because he's got this like hunger and horribleness about it. Like he reminds me a bit of Drogba, and like as a Fulham fan, I don't like that. But is he going to be clinical enough this season?
4 chances at the weekend, 2 on target. He looked a bit wasteful, didn't he? But pre-season, he was
is
great.
That a thing with him? I don't know. I haven't obviously really seen him before now.
Pre-season,
so I don't know.
He was so clinical. Every shot was a goal pre-season. But then he was on that amazing run for Villarreal. It's something like scored like 9 in 11 or something like that.
He did.
I think he was the most. I think from all the strikers in Europe, his stats in the last 2 months were like the best in Europe.
Okay.
So I don't know. That makes me think he's clinical, but maybe he was just going for a good spell. He does need a goal, though. Like, if Chelsea got a penalty, I'd be like, let him take it. Because I want my number 9 scoring goals. But I think it probably will be Reece. But let's see. He's got West Ham up next at the London Stadium. I think that's a really good tester for Chelsea, that game. That's not an easy place to go. But I think if Chelsea win that or keep a clean sheet and score a goal or two, we can take them really seriously as FPL options. But I should probably move away from the Chelsea game because I could speak about that all night. Another one, like I don't like just picking out players for you guys that have got a ton of points because that's easy, right? We can talk Maddison or we can talk Estupinan or Chilwell. But what about the players that didn't get points that perhaps should have done or could have done? Eze clocked an expected goals total individually by himself, expected goal involvement total of 0.92. Like most teams this weekend didn't clock 0.92. Eze did individually. That's how good he was. Palace, I think their XG in the game was like 1.2 or something. Eze was responsible for all of it. He had 8 shots. He was on all the set pieces. He's amazing. Like, I think he's playing with such freedom, and his average position map was pretty much on top of Edouard as the most advanced player. He's going to be on pens too. The problem with Eze is there's a ton of 6.5 mids that are decent. Diaby, Mbomo, Matoma, they all returned at the weekend. And most squads can only have one 6.5 mid. So I don't know if Eze is going to be the same as last season where we all go, we really want him, but we can't quite reach him. And because it's only little Crystal Palace, we'll forget about him. But he ticks along nicely.
He does, yeah. I mean, I was impressed with the way that Palace played. I mean, I think they found it quite easy at times, but they had like third man runners that would run from deep, and it really caused Sheffield United problems. And then they were using the cutbacks. And I thought Ayew looked really hungry and good. And obviously Edouard looks like he's going to eat up some chances. Yeah. So we'll see what Eze can do. At 6.5, I'm not that tempted to go there. Like you say, that doesn't, if it was like 0.5 low or something, might be a bit more one of those that you'd be willing to go for. But Palace did look good, and they are still in the market for another forward too, which makes me wonder if this team really could have a good start to the season.
I can't remember if he's in our chaser team, mate. We may have transferred him out. We definitely had him going into the last show. I don't think we've got our chaser team available yet to show you guys. If we have, or perhaps I can just let you know in the chat if we do have Eze. But we'll show it on Friday. But I'm kind of hoping we have, even though we blanked.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, someone just...
Go on, Dean, sorry.
I was going to say they've got Arsenal next, so I wouldn't be jumping on Eze this week. Yeah.
Tough fixture for Arsenal, though, because it is at Selhurst Park. So if you... a big conversation this week is what to do with Gabriel. And I'm like, even if he starts, I don't think I'm expecting an Arsenal clean sheet, you know.
Not the way Palace played at the weekend. No, I probably agree with that. I think that Arsenal could be there for the taking, and still would expect Arsenal to win the game. But yeah, absolutely. I think that you're right. Punter says no, he was indeed transferred out. Might not be the worst thing in the world. He didn't rack up points this week, and he probably won't next.
True. I think we may have changed the system and gone for a low, like 4.5 mid, and gone João Pedro as like a third forward. So yeah, probably not a bad thing. João Pedro looked very good as well. So look, we've got loads to still get through because we've got to see our teams. We've got to do some tips and chips. We're going to be talking bonus points, and we've got to take your questions. And there's only half an hour left. So without further ado, let's check out Pimp, my team. There we go.
Oh, the Walton Rifles. Yeah, in the backs. Yeah, so I took a punt. I decided to just make up my team with two differentials in Brooks and Rice. Brooks came in because he was the most
amazing.
Yeah, and I was looking back. I was like, I really want a Bournemouth asset to come in here because I actually fancy Bournemouth to have quite a decent season.
Yeah, he looked so good. I thought.
Yeah, only the 2 points, but I'm going to stick by him a little bit just to see if he can bring up anything with those at a low price point. And Declan Rice, I got a bit unlucky here because Rice, he hit the post with a long ranger. He had another good chance too. I just thought, do you know what? I can see it's not in for it. I can see him scoring a debut goal here. I came pretty close. So that was a punt that, again, was quite cheap. And I just thought, with Arsenal's fixture list at the start, he's bound to get involved a bit more. Good possibilities. You see, he was singing that North London Forever song at the start. Like, he is fully bought into this move. Fans must be like, he's literally singing their anthem in game one. Come on, mate. You're still blowing bubbles a bit, surely. But yeah, Mark says he got the Bournemouth bug too a little bit and got Solanke. Yeah,
he looked good too. I think you're right with Bournemouth, guys. I think they'll score goals, and Solanke looks like the perfect striker for this system. So I think, yes, he's more expensive than we expected. I think he's like 7 million. But covering that attack with someone like Brooks must be what, 5 million?
I can't remember what it was now.
Definitely
I'll look it up.
Good price.
Yeah, 5 million. Yeah, but obviously they've got Liverpool away next, so I don't know that I'll definitely stick with him.
Hopefully, Cameron Archer's got a good loan move by then, and you can start him because he's been heavily linked with Sheffield United.
Yeah,
maybe a few others. Yeah. So
there's a good chance that Archer does get a move. You're right. And yeah, Sheffield United actually. So Baldock ended up coming in for Stones because Stones didn't play. Baldock got Forest away, so I don't even mind that, to be honest. Evil, how much did Dean drink before making his team? I got no problem with my team, apart from the Rice and Brooks. I'm still quite happy with it.
I like the fact you've got a couple of differentials. And look, when you've got Mo Salah, you have to have compromises. If you're going to go Salah, Haaland, Rashford, and Saka, like that's 4. You could call Saka and Rashford premiums almost, right? So you need those cheap midfielders. Maybe Rice has to go because he was deep. But other than that, I can't think of a player I'd looking even your whole squad and go, I'd sell. Rice is the obvious one, but again,
exactly. But again, like that was it's a 5 million punt. Like it was just an interesting one for his debut.
Enzo, mate, he's 5 million. He's a bit more advanced, and he was on set pieces. Enzo, he took him off Reece and Chilwell, the corners and the indirect free kick. So he's one to watch out for. 5 million mids.
Yeah, exactly that. And to be honest, like even like this obviously isn't like a particularly great game week for his team. Obviously, I've still got Rashford and Onana to play, so like I would expect this to rise reasonably, hopefully by the end of tonight. But I'm not going to be far off the pace in terms of where I'm going to be at, so I'm absolutely fine with it. But yeah, I think this is quite good. I will be targeting Luton Town in future weeks. So that Chelsea fixture, I am going to watch out for Chelsea's next game and just think who's going to be among the goals. Chelsea obviously play West Ham next, but then they've got Luton at home game week 3. Luton don't play next week. That might give them time to get their house in order. They were rubbish. They are genuinely no good. So they're going down. And yeah, I want a Chelsea asset added to this for game week 3.
Enzo for Rice. I can see it already. I saw a comment there was saying props to Dean. He's playing his own game. Got a lot of time for that.
Well, this is the thing. That's actually one of the reasons I should have brought that up. I got so sick of seeing the same team everywhere
we can see my team in a sec. Should we show my team? Because this is similar. This is a templatey team. It is.
And I just didn't see the point of it. I was like, one, it's a bit boring. And two, I was like, well, look, if I'm going to be on this show twice a week, what is the point of me going with the same team as everyone else? We've got to have something to talk about here. Yeah. So let's
attack. Why not?
So I mean, look, I'm going to be sticking with people a lot. I don't intend to make anywhere near as many transfers this season because I'm going to try and trust my initial instincts and stick by Salah. Say he goes quiet for a few weeks, I'm going to just stick by him now that he's in this team. I'm not saying I'm not going to jump off him at all, but I'm going to try and give him every chance because over the course of the season, as we learned last year, it was like Salah's not having a good season, and yet his points total by the end, you're like, I should have just kept him in all season, and I'd have done well.
Yeah, exactly that. Look, let's see a little bit more of a templated team. I've been saying all pre-season, I'm not going Gabriel because it's far too template if you have the Arsenal defender, 2 Arsenal attackers. And I wasn't going Gabriel, and then I saw the team news that Stones and Gvardiol weren't in the 11. So my Man City defender, which, by the way, I've been saying, Man City defence, best in the league by country mile, make sure you have one of them. Obviously, I didn't want to go and put Akanji, Ake, Rico Lewis or Walker in because they're all going to be risks moving forward. So I went Gabriel, and then Gabriel doesn't start either. But look, whether he starts or not now moving forward, I don't think I want an Arsenal defender because I've seen Estupiñán, I've seen Chilwell, I've seen Adoji, I've seen Reece James, all of which just look like they're going to give so much going forward. I want these attacking fullbacks where possible. And Gabriel's not exactly cheap. It's still 5 million. And Tom, you're right, Ake did really well. But when Gvardiol came on, he was at left back, not centre back. And I just wonder if they'll be competing for one spot in that team. So, look, I'm fairly happy with my team, but the obvious move out for me will be Gabriel, or I give him another week anyway because he's got a couple of okay fixtures. And I might, depending on minutes for Foden in the Super Cup, and remember, they play Sevilla on Wednesday night in I think it's maybe Greece. It's a long flight. I might. And look, I knew this with Foden. I was like, if he starts versus Burnley, I'll play him because I think he's going to get points versus Burnley. He didn't, but he did get 90. And I'll use that midfield spot for my fun transfer every week. So I might go Foden to Jota for 1 week or Foden to Diaz for 1 week. Or I could move straight to my Spurs midfielder, Richarlison or Maddison. So again, that slot's going to be fairly fluid, but pretty happy elsewhere. João Pedro was someone I was really close to. He scored. Annoying. And Bomo scored. Again, he was highly owned. These guys on penalties, that's why they were so highly owned. And maybe I don't rate penalty takers high enough. But Bomo and João Pedro punished a little bit in terms of overall rank. But elsewhere, fairly happy. And being on Chilwell early is nice. I still want Reece James as well. Not going to lie. I might go Gabriel to Reece James. I've got $1 million in the bank with this draft. It would give me
nice
defense that. So I could go Colwill to Reece James. But there we go. Fairly happy. Shall we have a look at our community teams? This is the one I'm really excited to see. Has it beaten us?
No. Well, it beat me. Well, I haven't finished yet.
We've got Chilwell coming in, though.
Chilwell coming in, so that takes it to 68 and plus 3 Man United assets. So, yeah.
It will beat us.
It's going to beat us, yeah. So, there we go. It's paid off. That João Pedro up front looks nice. That front line actually looks good, doesn't it? That's taken shape nicely.
Yeah.
Martinelli's little back heel paying off. Saka's bending into the corner. That was lovely. Yeah, I mean, there's literally only. The Stones was obviously unfortunate. We can't really judge that. Gabriel is a strange one. We'll wait and see what happens with that going forward.
Should we make our transfer now? And then on Friday, we can show it. And then if they don't like it on Friday, we can do another transfer. We won't actually click the buttons on the transfer.
Okay, so we'll make a pretend transfer.
Yeah. Because then on Friday, everyone won't be saying to us, you've got the wrong screen up. We can go, no, this is actually the team.
Yeah.
So So I think most are going to say just get rid of Gabriel early.
I imagine it seems like a bit of a risk, doesn't it?
Should
So who would?
we poll a Gabriel replacement?
Yeah. Well,
All
let's
right.
put Gabriel in the poll. So we'll do a
Oh yeah,
poll and say
nice.
stick Gabriel in the poll. So and then give 3 alternates.
Love that. Okay, so let's go Saliba if you want to stay within Arsenal.
Yep.
I think Reece James, who walked off yesterday and it said he was fine. He smiled, he jogged. Manager said he's fine. So let's just go Reece as an option. And then what do you reckon? Like, should we look at, I don't know, the Doji 4.5 defender?
Decent one. Have I got? Might make a good
We've
defender.
got City defence covered.
Yeah.
We've got Man United defence covered with Onana.
Yeah, Newcastle's fixture's too tricky to contemplate. Yeah, I think just go with a bit of a left field one like that. Yeah. Hey, Dodgy, sounds quite good.
Okay, so let's go. The options are roll the transfer, which is keep Gabriel.
Yeah.
Saliba.
Oh, Rico Henry, that's a good one. Brian says Rico Henry. That is actually quite a decent
let's
shout.
stick Henry in.
He had a good game.
Yeah, he was unlucky. He could have got more points as well. That assist from Bomo's big miss. Okay, so there we go. It's roll the transfer, Saliba, Reece James, or Henry.
Yeah. Let's do it, people. Let's see what you think. If you really don't want to transfer, then that's totally fine. But we have to open this up. I don't
think the chat are going to be very good at rolling each week, and I know that's winning at the moment. But I think moving forward, the chat won't roll much. But yeah, at the moment they are.
It's not fun, is it? I mean, it's not your real team, so you might as well have some fun with it.
And captaincy, we don't have Salah. I think if we had Salah, the Chasers would go Salah this week.
Do you?
I think I would go Salah if I own Salah this week.
Well, this is the thing that I'm going to have, isn't it? This week, it's going to be like, am I going to jump off of Haaland? And I guess on the back of the Super Cup, it's going to be tempting to do that. But I'll still be in two minds, mate, because like City's first home game of the season, Haaland doesn't really matter who he's playing against, whether he scores or not. But
he would have come back from Greece. He's had a midweek fixture, Haaland. I don't think he'll play 90 versus Newcastle. Well, it depends his minutes in the Super Cup. There's a very good chance he only gets 70 minutes against Newcastle if the game's already won. Like, what have we learned? What have we learned in game week 1 that we didn't already know? Absolutely nothing. We've learned Haaland scores goals. Well, we knew that. We've learned Salah looks sharp. Well, we knew that. You put Salah in your team at the start of the season. Anyone that owns him did it. For one of the reasons were Bournemouth game week 2 and you can captain him. So Bournemouth game week 2, still captain him. Like Salah could have had 20 points last weekend. Really could have done. So don't let the Haaland brace turn your head. Like we knew Haaland was going to score goals against Burnley.
Yeah, I mean, actually, one person in my mini league, he's actually a footballer as well. He didn't pick Haaland, and we're like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?"
It's not even.
He's like, "Oh, I don't know. I just thought I don't know about it. I don't know if there's any need to have him." It's like. And it's like 20 minutes into the game.
He's captain every week.
Yeah, exactly.
He's paying for the curry then, mate.
He will be paying for the curry. Luckily, you can afford it, so it doesn't matter.
Team, we've got over 300 in the chat. It's the first time all show I've even looked at the numbers. 322 of you are watching. So look, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. Hit the like button, guys, if you fancy it. If you want to ask a question, get it in the chat. We'll get to some questions when we can. Super chat, of course, will be considered top of the list. But yeah, thank you for supporting. We do Mondays and Friday streams, me and Dean. We're also going to do Wednesday lunchtime streams with Big Man Backer moving forward as well. So loads going on at Chasing Green Arrows. Loads of reasons, hopefully there for you to subscribe. Monday's all about reviewing the game week just gone. Friday will be a deadline and preview stream. But yeah, if you're just tuning in, go back and watch the last 45 minutes. I've loved having you back, mate, and the chat of our eye test scouting and your notebook.
Yeah, it's been an eventful show already, isn't it? We are keeping Gabriel. We are keeping Gabriel. That is confirmed. 53% said hold on to Gabriel. So he keeps his spot in this team, which is interesting.
Oh, Ray Kashi, welcome to the stream, mate. He's wearing his Fiorentina, his Batistuta Fila Nintendo shirt tonight, and I'm sporting the Inter Milan one. Ray, it was lovely to see you, mate, on Friday. It was Friday night at Fest. I'm still croaky voice from it. Let's move on. We've got still like tips and chips and bonus points to discuss and your questions.
Yes.
So let's have a look at some of the bonus beasts from the weekend just gone in tips and chips. Here we go. And yeah, Brian, the community should weigh in on the starting 11. And they absolutely will. That chaser team is going to be completely led by you. And on Friday, if we want to make any changes, we will. You'll also be voting on who to captain. So look, we're going to look at some of the bonus beasts from the weekend just gone. Just a couple of games. Now, it's pretty obvious when a player does well, and we know it. We go, great goal, Saka, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to point out, even without the goal, like Saka absolutely smashed it against Forest. Like his baseline bonus was really high regardless. He obviously came away with the 10 points. A couple of shots on target, 47 accurate passes, proper involved. And those key chances are brilliant for bonus because as soon as you lodge a key pass, again, you're boosted in the BPS. So he was clearing away on for 3 bonus. And I think we knew in the summer he was in good form because we saw his hat-trick for England. We saw him pre-season. Saka is going to make a mockery of 8.5 million, I think. I think Saka is becoming very quickly a captaincy option every week. I think he will. I think he'll be the guy we sometimes, when we do go against Haaland, I think we go Saka. And world number 1 last year, fellow chaser Ali Hangarov, he was willing to go against Haaland game week 1. He owned him, but he was like, I'm captaining Saka. And again, he did that well last season. He went against Haaland in some of the tough away games for a home player like a Rashford or a Saka or a Salah. And again, this season, if you don't own Salah, you might want alternatives for captaincy every now and then. Now, game week 2 isn't the week. Saka's away, tricky fixture at Palace, and Haaland's at home to Newcastle. But at some point, I think we'll be going Saka captain if he carries on like this, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got so much confidence about him at the moment. Yeah, just a delightful player. Like he always looks so happy and he plays with happy feet. Like it's unbelievable to watch. So, yeah, Shepherd says Saka is an incredible asset. And yeah, I think like by the end of this season, his ownership will be probably through the roof. Just going to try and check out what his ownership is right now, 62%.
Oh yeah, it's on the screen there. Yeah, 62.3%. Yeah. That's huge.
I've seen if that had even changed since then, given his performance at the weekend. Nice. But yeah, it's that is high. I mean, it's more than double actually what Salah actually owns. I know it's because of the price point, but still, like twice as many people have gone there.
Yeah, and shout out our producer for knocking together these graphics because this looks great. Like we've got there his fixtures on screen as well, and it's such easy to digest material. Like Palace up next. I think it is tough at Selhurst Park. Fulham at home could be a good one. United then at home. I think there'll be goals in that fixture. Everton away, you back them to score big still. Tottenham at home, the North London derby. Like even the tricky fixtures, United, Tottenham, both home games, you're expecting goals. So again, not mad keen on Gabriel long-term or an Arsenal defender because I think they will concede, but I think they'll score plenty too. So let's move on away from Saka and see who the other bonus... This isn't from every fixture, by the way. This is bonus beasts of players that obviously I'm keen to rave about. And another highly owned asset, 53% owned, Estupinan, but I couldn't believe 6 key passes. 2 of them were big chances created, and he had a couple of shots on target too. Like, arguably could and should have scored. But even without a goal, a clean sheet, and he got a yellow card, he still mopped up the 3 bonus. Like, that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how good his underlying stats are.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I am at pains to point out that how easy it was to bypass the Luton midfield. It was like... it was ridiculous. So I am keeping that in mind, the fact that most weeks won't be as easy as this. Like Brighton could have scored 7 or 8 goals in this game. Like Luton at times were just like, they just disappeared. But you can only beat what's in front of you. You can only create what's in front of you. And the fact that we'll get a proper look at Wolves in a minute in the late night Monday game, but you know, Wolves might not be much better than Luton, judging by how bad their pre-season's gone. So we could be in for another big week for Estupinan.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was looking on the heat map, and I think I shared it with you, Dean. Like, he looks like a wide forward, a bit like Chilwell. You're like, oh, what is he doing there? So, and Not quite Saka positioning, admittedly. And again, Saka's heat map pretty much looked like he looked like Mo Salah, Saka's heat map. Again, I think I shared it with you, Dean. Like he is the most advanced man on the pitch. And again, we'll show you some of those heat maps on these bonus beast features next Monday. But let's move on. I think we've got one more, maybe. Oh, there he is. We haven't spoken about the only guy so far that's gone up in value in FPL. He's had a price rise, deservedly so. The only problem with Isak is going to be it's never going to be him and Wilson. Like, he wants to play Harvey Barnes or Gordon on the left.
Gordon was good.
Isak on the left. And with Isak down the middle, like, he's going to probably start most of the games, but Wilson will get some of the minutes. But both of them look like they're going to clock points and get opportunities regardless. The most shots in the entire game week so far was Callum Wilson on 4. And he only played 28 minutes. Like, this Newcastle attack is going to attack.
When it helped that Villa fell apart, but
yeah, they did. What do you think to the Champions League lineup, though? Because I see Isak as the guy that will always start in the champs. And actually, maybe Callum Wilson will get some starts around the Champions League fixtures in the Prem.
Yeah.
Which will make him a potentially good short-term option.
Yeah, that's true. Callum Wilson is definitely not going to be content with just being on the bench all the time. He'll be pushing and pushing to get starts, and he'll expect it to come along too. It's going to be a tough one once we get a bit deeper into the season. Isak, though, was absolutely sensational. Tonali, we haven't actually mentioned yet in the show. Shout out to him, because the type of performance we got from him was a bit different to what I expected, because he was running from deep and he was making late runs into the box, which actually makes him quite an interesting asset if he's going to do that week after week. It was one of the best Premier League debuts I've seen in a long time, actually. He was really good. So I'd say Isak and Tonali really stood out for me in that match. And look, battering Villa 5-1 is very interesting. I mean, look, Villa, the defending was just all over the place, like defending way too high. Pau Torres and Konsa on a different planet from each other at times. So it's hard to read too much into it. But again, like these two, you weren't expecting them to be worlds apart at the start of the season. So to win 5-1 and for Isak to make it look this easy is amazing. I think I tweeted at the time, Isak playing with a ripped shirt and tearing Villa apart. Like they just couldn't keep up with him. Like even literally trying to rip his shirt off his back, they couldn't stop him.
There's a couple of times with the obscene high line from Aston Villa, you could see Isak wanted to run behind. And there was a few times where he kind of held his run so much because he didn't want to be offside that he gave himself sort of 5 yards behind the centre-back to start his run. So you'd think he's never going to get that ball. But over the first 10 yards, I couldn't believe how quick he was versus whatever Villa centre-back on the turn. And players like Konsa and Pau Torres are no slouches. And I'm looking at, sorry, I've been looking at my phone so much. I'm looking at the average position map. And Alexander Isak, and I think I sent you this on Sunday, Dean, is where you want your number 9 to be, super advanced. So many number 9s we see now, including Jota at the weekend, by the way, dropping onto the ball. And he's kind of in the midfield areas so much because he's coming short. Isak didn't do any of that. He is, I'm staying central and I'm staying high. And Tonali, again, as you mentioned, like really close to him, way more advanced than Bruno Guimaraes. So again, I do wonder if I said straight away when Tonali moved, he will not be an FPL asset. This isn't a guy we associate with goals and assists, but maybe under Eddie Howe he will be. And again, he's got some of the set pieces and he's playing pretty close to the number 9. So again, worth considering. But Isak was amazing too. So shout out to Newcastle.
And shout out to Newcastle, because like I underplayed them coming into the season because I was just a bit sceptical of how they'd get underway. Tough fixture list, and they have got 2 really hard games up next. But you know what? I'm like, anything could happen here. I'm really backing Newcastle to win a trophy this season. I think that they'll be really going for that.
Yeah, I think they're going to have loads of fun in the Champions League as well. I think that they could even surprise a few and qualify out their group.
Yeah, it might be a bit like AC Milan when they made their return to the Champions League. I think it might be a little bit like that.
Yeah, I love that. Ellis says, been favouring this channel quite a bit this season and the end of last season. You guys actually listen to the chat as well, which means a lot and shows you guys care of what you do, super chats or not. Yeah, absolutely. We've never done super chats on the show.
Yeah, we are kind of joking about that. Yeah.
Ivor says 50-50 gone wrong. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Watkins versus Everton as captain. That
I mean, that's way too
feels
risky. I don't know what your team is, Vikito, but unless you haven't got Haaland or Salah, then that seems completely unnecessary.
It is
Everton, I
Haaland or
mean,
Salah this week, because outside
it's,
of that, you look at Arsenal and Man United. Well, they've got tricky fixtures away from home, so it is literally for me Haaland or Salah.
yeah, absolutely. Will says, what to do if I have Nicholas Jackson on the bench with João Pedro starting for game week 2? Look, I'll be honest. I don't expect Chelsea to like hit numbers against West Ham. In fact, I'm not even sure Chelsea win that game. So
Tough one.
yeah, it's a tough call. But if you want to
Who's João
stick with
Pedro
João
got?
Pedro for that game, because they've got Wolves, Brighton against Wolves, I'd just probably stick with João Pedro ahead of Nicholas Jackson, for considering the fixtures they've got and what we've seen them do so far. Like Nicholas Jackson, like he looks alert and all these kind of things, and definitely has the potential to get off the mark there at West Ham. João Pedro already off the mark, playing against a team that's considered to be relegation fodder. I'd get on him.
Yeah. See how Wolves get on tonight before you commit, because again, like I've heard good things of Gary O'Neill and what the players may have said about his training. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he might surprise a few. He definitely
I'm even
surprised a few
thinking
last
tonight,
season.
like no one's giving Wolves a hope tonight. Like it's expected to be like a 2 or 3-0 Man United win tonight. And you're like, well, hang on, there's all this expectation of Man United to go and do that. Wolves, no one's expecting anyone's expecting them to like be rubbish. And I'm like, they've got no pressure on them tonight. Like they might be able to do something if they could play without that burden. We'll see.
Yeah, Luke's got the same goalkeepers a lot have got, which is Turner and Onana. Again, see how United get on tonight. But I would be inclined to give maybe Turner an opportunity, because I think Forest at home are going to be really good. They were last season. Their home record was phenomenal. So, look, I fancy Spurs to score in any given game. But if United keep it clean tonight and look really solid defensively, maybe I change my mind. We've got a couple more questions. We'll come to RTJ next. And Dean, you can take this one. We'll alternate.
Yeah, playing a triple Arsenal midfield at the start of the season. Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. Crazy, or will it pay off until game week 8? I mean, it's certainly a bold strategy, but at the same time, like we always have this issue with Arsenal whereby we don't know which midfielder is going to weigh in with the points. So at least you're covered from that aspect of things. The problem is that you're never going to get a week when all 3 hit the board. So when other people are getting all their midfielders racking up points, you were probably missing out on at least 1, possibly 2 of your midfielders getting beyond 2, maybe even 5 points. But the fixture list for Arsenal, certainly over the next couple of weeks, playing Crystal Palace and Fulham, is friendly, and I think that you could probably stick with that. But beyond that, when they've got the Man United and Tottenham games coming up, I'm not sure I'd be sticking with a triple for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would. There's just so many other good midfield options. Like my plan was always triple Arsenal attack. It was going to be 2 mids and Jesus. But they didn't quite click against Forest. Forest actually clocked a higher XG than Arsenal. Arsenal's XG in the entire game didn't hit 1. It's quite surprising for them at home. Like maybe that changes. But I think Jesus out the team. Brighton hit 4 XG and scored 4 goals, right? Arsenal need to be hitting more than 1 XG in a game to even think about triple up. Like to hit a double up, that doesn't quite justify the double up, let alone the triple up. So see how you get on, but you can always jump off that. You don't have to commit. CH says, love the super chat, Mark. I can't.
Well, he's done a fake one. He's done a fake one.
I got excited.
I know. We thought we'd earned our first $2 there. We're still skinned. We've still got absolutely nothing in the pot.
We're not going to take your question.
We're not even taking the question, Mark. That you can't troll us like that. We're getting so excited. I thought I could be able to buy my kids a lollipop or something in a second.
Punter went Alvarez, which was a fine shout, especially if you had seen the leaks and we knew he was starting. With the KDB injury, let's wait till we know a little bit more about that at the end of the week. But I think Alvarez might be one you can keep. And Nketiah or Alvarez is a tough call. I think I prefer Alvarez because I'm not convinced Nketiah keeps the 9 spot. I know he scored.
No.
I wonder if Trossard or Havertz can pop up there at any given time. And Jesus will be back soon anyway.
I'm concerned about what the Arsenal lineup is going to be week on week here. I mean, the whole party thing. I didn't really. His subs. His philosophy on subs at the weekend was a bit strange. It's a bit like predicting Pep Guardiola at the moment, looking at Arteta. So I'm kind of like, unless it's a Saka Martinelli situation, I'm a bit skeptical on going any further.
I forgot to mention earlier, CH, because we want you in as our mod, can you do me a favor and DM the Chasing Green Arrows Twitter account, and you can speak to our producer there, so you can set up like your. I'm guessing you need your email address or something.
Yeah. Did I miss River's super chat? What was it?
No
CH, did I
way.
miss the first super chat? It was River. I haven't seen it. Where is it?
Oh,
Got to find it. River, if you
yeah.
actually did do a super chat, then let me know what time it was at, because I genuinely did miss it.
I didn't see. Oh, the last show.
Was that?
Oh, yeah. I was too drunk to remember.
Oh,
Clearly.
it doesn't count, and I still don't get the $2 for the lollipop, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Timber out for who? Yeah, Timber's out for a few months, so definitely sell. And Foden to Mbumo, again, evil. Just wait till you see Foden in the Super Cup. With KDB injured, Foden might be a good own. And Timber, yeah, you definitely need to sell. I would just look at those Chelsea fullbacks. I think that should be in high demand. What's your thoughts on Havertz, Dean?
Void at the moment. I don't know where he's going to be playing. I don't know what we're going to be getting from him. I thought a few weeks ago I had him in my draft. I thought he was going to be looking a good asset. Then I saw him play as the 9, and I was like, oh no, he's still going to be missing chances. So I took him out altogether, and he didn't start as a 9 anyway, so no chance.
Son, I don't know. I don't think Son's an asset for me because of the price. You save a lot of money by going with Richarlison. You save a lot of money by going Maddison. So personally, not keen on that.
Yeah. Roll and then Matoma and Watkins to Maddison and Jackson for game week 3, says Kavish. Matoma and Watkins game week 3. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good pathway to take if that's what you do. Probably no need to make transfers in the second week, and then you want to be targeting that Luton game for Chelsea for sure.
We got a super chat.
Yeah,
come on. Oh, Dean, I hope that can buy you a lollipop, mate. $5.
$5.
$5 US dollars. That's massive.
Is that US dollars? Mate, I could buy loads of lollipops. Thank you, RTJ. That's history as far as I'm concerned, because I wasn't on the last show. So appreciate that. This is the start of great things for me and Gianni. I'm already ready to start looking at new houses. What might I be able to get upgrades?
Thoughts on Vista?
Yeah.
Good. I think Vista's good. He's the best finisher at the club, according to what the guys say in training. If you're on Vista, don't jump off. Give him a couple of weeks. I know he didn't get 90. Missed a big chance. The fixtures are there for Brentford, so I'd stay loyal on him. If you're not on him, though, I still would prefer Mbomo if you're going for a Brentford attacker.
Yeah, the Man United team has just been released. I've got it on the TV right now.
Any surprises, or is it as we expect?
I mean, Garnacho's starting, which I wasn't sure would happen. Yeah, so Garnacho, Anthony, and Rashford up front. Mount starts for his Man United debut. Casemiro and Bruno are in there. The back fours, as you expect: Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, and Shaw, and Dean Henderson in goal. No, I'm joking. Onana in goal. Onana does get the place. So yeah, pretty much as you expect, apart from maybe Garnacho getting the nod.
Okay, there we go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Dean and I will be back. Oh, Yusuf, you've just gone and hit us with another super chat. We're not going anywhere. Oh, so excited.
Yeah. Just leave the stream running. Just leave the stream running. The money is rolling in.
Yeah, can you let us go now, guys? If you please, no more super chats.
We better answer the question.
Then use my bench boost. What do you think? So look, he's thinking of Yusuf's looking at going bench boost early, and he'd do that by getting a -4 by getting James and Jackson. He's already got Chilwell. This is for game week 3 bench boost. What I would say is go one of those guys and don't use your bench boost, and then don't take a 4-point hit either. There will be an injury, or there'll be something. I don't know if your squad is really well set for bench boost. If it is, fair, go early. But if you've got like a 4 million enabler and stuff, they're not really bench boost players yet. It's better to bench boost off the back of, say, a wild card towards the end of the season when you're producing a good 15-man squad. But if that was part of your grand plan, maybe you don't have the 4 million defenders. I'd go James or Jackson rather than both. But if you are going to commit to it, then go both with a 4-point. I don't hate it, but it's bold early on, Yusuf. But look, fortune favours the brave.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. But for now, guys, unless the super chat comes in the next 10 seconds, so I'm going to speak really quickly. We will see you on Wednesday. Me and Big Man back at lunchtime, 1 p.m. I think it will be. But me and Dean will be back for the Friday preview show as well. It'll be like a deadline stream. So we're going to go 5 o'clock. Deadline's at 6:15. So we'll see you Friday. I'll see you Wednesday. But for now, he's been Dean, I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing green arrows.